Alex Masmesh.
Yo, how's it going?
Yo!
Yo, bang bang.
Bang bang. No, that's Pomp's thing. I can't do that on the show.
I said
Yo.
bang bang to Pomp when I came in before he said it, and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Welcome,
Mint,
dude.
mint.
Mint, bang bang. Thank you for being on. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm doing awesome. I was traveling in France and New York. Maybe I'll go to New York for NFT NYC next week. Time of
Maybe?
recording. Maybe I don't know. I made FOMO last minute. What about you?
Okay.
How's it going?
I'm going. I'm going to FT NYC. Gonna hang there. This is gonna come out on Tuesday, so during NFT NYC.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
whoever's gonna be listening on Tuesday, hit me up. I hope to see you around. But welcome to Mint. First time on Mint. Iconic, bigger than Ellen. Bang, bang, bang. Da-na-na-na-na, all these good things. I'm stoked to have you on, my friend. A lot of why Mint is here today is because of your entrepreneurial type of mindset, starting the social token movement and kind of sparking this Web3 creator journey that a lot of us are on. So I think a good place to start, okay, for those who don't know who you are, okay, who the hell are you, Alex? What does the world need to know about you? But more specifically, how the hell did you get into crypto?
All right, sure. So I guess I grew up from Paris, and I grew up in Paris from 0 to 18. And at 18, I studied in the UK. So now I'm bilingual and I speak English. And then at 23, after learning about entrepreneurship and startups, I was always passionate by Steve Jobs since I'm like 12. Um, I decided to pick to pick an industry that I would work on and really focus heads down for the next 10 years. And so I think I picked like AI, VR, and Web3 crypto. And at the time, crypto was the one I wanted the least to focus on. But then it became so obvious that like anyone can join crypto. It's very low barriers to entry. It's kind of like the internet. And I was like, if I want to be a legendary founder, having a massive impact in the world, Web3 is probably the best industry to spend my 20s in, and it's going to massively impact the world positively. And so I decided to join crypto in like 2018, 2019, and I was like 21 something. And I joined Metacartel first, which is one of the pioneering DAOs. It was based on Moloch DAO, which is kind of like a multi-sig where if you disagree of where the funds are going, you can rage quit and you can not spend your money. And so it was a nice way to align people on the same financial decision. And so Metacartel was giving grants to startups. It was the bear market. Everyone was poor in 2018, 2019. And I discovered some amazing minds like Peter Pan, Koopa Troopa, way before any of those guys were big in crypto Twitter. That was very exciting. I created even my own project that Metacartel gave me a grant called Rocket, which was NFT as a collateral way before its time or NFTs were a thing. Then I created a marketing DAO with the CMO of Consensus and a couple of other folks, also a DAO, marketing Ethereum and trying to be better at comms and stuff. And then COVID happened, and I was broke and I was just living off grants and free flights and the crypto gift economy that people were willing to give me with DAOs and stuff. And I had no choice, but I was stuck in Paris. It was, I remember, March 2020. The crypto market was crashing. I had like a small freelancer gig for like a company that was overfunded that was paying me a little bit every month. And so I got cut all of that. And I even got screwed up in a DeFi protocol. And I lost like 80% of my savings. So it's March 2020. And I'm like, I've got all of those insights and experimentations, and I have to do something, or I'll just be like a normal guy, doing a normal job in Paris. I was stuck in Paris at my parents' house. And I remember I had done the Alex token because Peter Pan flew me out and he wanted me to repay his debt that he lended me for that flight to my first crypto conference. And he was like, let's create a token so you can repay me later. It was called Alex Masmesh Loan 2019. So I had a lot of experiments in Rocket and Marketing DAO, all the stuff I've told about. And I was like, let's just use one of my experiments. So the Alex token, which was not really used for anything. It didn't really work out. It was just like a 1 hour of my time for like, X number of tokens. I was like, let's use it, but this time as like a crowdfunding tool that was way before Mayor XYZ, the publishing platform, was live. Let's use it to, say, I want money to move to San Francisco and to start a very ambitious company and later on protocol. And I need the money as a safety net. And I want to create a cryptocurrency where, my holders can maybe access some new stuff. They can get my future salary, a portion of my future salary. And so I came to ECC in real life in 2020, just before COVID was closing down everything. And I said, I'm raising $20,000 to move to San Francisco. At the time, I was so scared. I have never, ever had a salary in my life. And I was promising the main stage that I would pay back with my salary, but I'd never had a salary. It was very scary and terrifying. And I was like, I don't think I'll ever raise the $20,000. And 2 weeks later, I do a Medium article because, as I said, Mayor was not a thing. There was no crowdfund. There was no Mayor race, whatever. And turns out I raised the $20,000 in like 4 days from really incredible people like Jacob from Zora or Dan Finney from MetaMask, and just like really good people. It was capped at a hard cake of like my salary given back. So it was not like a VC investment. It was like, I'm just giving stuff. I don't really expect anything in return, but maybe the Alex token will go up if you ever become like a big founder or something.
Right.
And so that's kind of the Alex token story. And then it blew up on social media. I kind of went on TV. I did a lot of podcasts. I even created other stuff. Like I had like a deep fake of myself that you could like speak to and pay an Alex token. I had Control My Life, which also went very viral with Austin Griffiths, the Ethereum developer from the Ethereum Foundation, where basically like a vote in Alex token, like one token, one vote, could decide what I would do in July 2020. That went viral. It was kind of like the early days of Snapshot. Like this experiment voting was inspired Snapshot. Like a guy from Balancer just left to do Snapshot, and Alex voting on My Life was the first token vote on Snapshot. Anyway, so like a lot of things went viral consistently with the Alex token. And fast forward, I got my visa. I'm living in the United States. And I saw the NFT boom coming, and I was like, that's perfect. I always wanted to do a company. That's why I did the Alex token. And to me, my social token needed a social media. It needed a platform to be on. The token part is the easy part. That was not really hard to do, but I needed a platform. And yeah, I started Showtime in early 2021, and we can talk more into the history of Showtime.
Yeah, why'd you start Showtime? Why was that the next obvious thing to do?
So to me, like the crypto space has always been very financial. It was a lot about speculation, and I understand speculation can be good, but the NFT space and the crypto space as a whole, because NFTs were not even a thing when we started Showtime. It was just people had done a sale, but that was basically it. To me, like the space was too transactional and not enough about social. And to me, like crypto cannot sustain its growth with only self-motivated people. Like right now, it's crypto natives, it's people who are obsessed with crypto and they philosophically agree with crypto, so they install a wallet. And that's kind of how people are independently joining crypto. For crypto to break into mainstream, it has to go through your friend telling you about it. Like it sounds very simple, but there's no app where your friends tells you to use it in crypto. It doesn't exist right now. You need a friend to onboard you, to philosophically pill you in crypto, to listen to a podcast. There's no real app where like you're just like, oh yeah, like I'll just get it. And then this will trickle down to millions and billions of users. And so we're really focused on a social platform. And people don't actually, are not as excited about money as they are about social stuff and culture. This is why NFTs boomed. But NFTs, people didn't learn it from their friends. They learned it from media headlines. So it's like, yeah, like we saw some potential with NFTs and they started becoming viral, but it was mostly about the prices and, the media headlines versus people actually using them.
Right.
Like OpenSea, even though it's a massively successful company, still doesn't have over 1 million users. They have like 1.6 million users, but that's on Dune Analytics. People have multiple wallets and it's one-time users. So like, that's the potential of crypto. If 1 million users can shoot up OpenSea to 15 billion valuation, I think it's very exciting to try to invent the Web3 protocols and products that will guide the next 100 million users. And Showtime was one of the first ones, but now there's Lens Protocol, there's Farcaster, there's Web3 WhatsApp coming up called Bylines. Like, there's a lot of very exciting social media. Even Vitalik is talking about it with Soulbound tokens in the paper he wrote. So I think this next cycle is going to be on social media, on Web3 social media. And I'm extremely excited about it. And I've been preparing it for years. So that's why I started Showtime.
So personal tokens / social tokens, they came to fruition mainly because of you. And you have about like one more year out of the 3 that you committed to revenue sharing with your 30 holders.
Yep, exactly.
We're 2 years into the experiment. Okay.
Yeah.
So did it pan out as you imagined so far?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, better. Like, I was always extremely ambitious. So like, I don't think I'll ever say, oh, like this is way more than I expected. This is exactly what I expected. I expected to raise from the best investors, to move to San Francisco, and then to really dedicate the next few years of my life to building a world-changing startups. But salary-wise, at the time, I remember like it felt weird promising future income that I've never gained. But turns out I'm a San Francisco founder. I'm making a 6-figure standard salary. And so for holders, it's actually way more than the maths that I was giving them, because I think I needed to do like to make $60,000 per year or so to break even. But I'm way more than breaking even. I don't think I'm going to have 5x or 10x, but like they are getting their money back. And it was also a fun journey. I don't think even people did it for the money that much, but did not cost them money. It was fun. And they're part of the first social token in history, which is very exciting. So I'm very grateful for them.
So how much revenue have you given to your 30 token holders to date, if you're open to sharing?
Interesting. I don't know exactly, because so like some I've asked like for USDC, a very famous like CoinMarketCap competitor founder asked me for USDC. I mean, yeah, some people, sometimes I've like did it in Alex LP tokens on Uniswap. It was very weird. I would say, I don't even know, honestly. I think I've probably given back roughly the same. So I've probably given back $20,000, maybe a little bit more so far. But however, there's a year left. So the year left now is pure bonus for them.
If there's an exit at Showtime, everybody's going to be really, really happy.
I think, yeah, like we're brainstorming it. I don't think I can promise anything, but I think it'll be very exciting to tying Showtime, maybe even if it's just personally, not via company, because that would not work legally. But I'll be committed to like reward people with the Alex token, especially the early ones. But I can't commit to anything because I don't want to have any investment advice or anything.
Right. There's never any investment advice given here. Okay. So how have personal coins sort of evolved since the launch of Alex token? It's been quite the journey.
Yeah. So the story is very interesting because I launched social tokens kind of out of desperation almost. Like it was like a forced innovation. It was like, if I don't innovate, I literally cannot stay. I have to get a job. And I did it, and it was very, very it triggered a lot of people's instincts about the fact that it was a little bit like Black Mirror, because it was kind of like undeterred servitude, meaning that I would be liable to my shareholders, and that's kind of a weird dynamic. Also, people push back because they were like the opposite, where like you actually have too much power. It's the opposite of Black Mirror, where actually now you can rug pull people, and that's not trustless like DeFi. I had some pushbacks. I have a lot of people who really liked it. Other people did it actually. Kerman Coley, a founder and newsletter writer in crypto, also did it like a few weeks after, also raising $20,000. So I think it just did a massive amount of noise. That got me very excited because crypto doesn't do noise very often. So it did with NFTs. Social tokens also, although it doesn't have product market fit as much as NFTs, did a lot of noise every time, sometimes for the worse. So as I said, the Alex token had its critics. It also, BitClout also had its critics because it started trading tokens without people's consent, and that pissed a lot of people off, rightly so. And so to me, a lot of people got excited. Even Cooper Tully started being like a social token manager, and Coin Artist did one, and a lot of very prominent people did one. Brian Flynn did one. And I think what people started realizing is that community tokens are better. Like friends with benefits started. And so the personal token, the narrative shifted. I remember there's like a podcast on Seed Club or something where Jess and like Patrick from Mir are basically saying, well, social tokens, personal tokens like Alex were fun, but it seems like community tokens are better because look at Seed Club and look at Friends with Benefits and look at others. And so this shifted, and I was like, man, I don't really agree with this. And like I even wrote a blog post on Andreessen Horowitz, future.com blog about this, where I'm like, creator tokens, personal tokens will boom before DAOs will. But right now, I guess crypto is kind of clunky and people love chatting on Discord. And so temporarily, community tokens are winning. But I'm very excited about the future of creator tokens because every time it's been tried, it really became viral, way more than Friends with Benefits, way more than Seed Club. It really started, like people were like, oh, being early in a creator, I get it. And, I think there's a lot of things to say about creator tokens, and I'm happy to dive into it more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So if you were to do Alex again, would you go the fungible route or the non-fungible route?
I think I would probably go the non-fungible route if I had to do it another time.
Why is that?
Because, well, I could go like the crowdfunding route again. And so maybe I would have done it on Mirror.xyz, for instance, with the NFT crowdfund. But I think, even the Alex token before my crowdfund started at 0. And so to me, the psychological, dollar ticker next to an experiment that starts at 0 is weird. I think NFTs are better poised for that, especially free NFTs. I would have probably maybe made a free NFT drop of Alex tokens. And I'm like, hey, like, I'm taking 10% royalties and I'm giving you access to like X or YZ things. And the trading would have maybe made me some money, or to me, I think I would have done at least an NFT crowdfunding on Mirror, or try to do something for free to more people and have something at scale, like maybe like a bigger group chats or a Zoom call, or people voting on my life would have like used it and that would have made me some money somehow. Like I would say like most experiments in crypto start at 0. And even like Bored Apes were like very cheap or even free to mint, and crypto things were free to mint. I think started without a price as a NFT is probably better and feels more like a badge than a currency. So I've probably just started with the NFT if it was the case today. But at the time, NFTs were not even a thing. It was very little.
What's up, guys? Adam Levy here. Sorry for the quick pause, but I wanted to recognize a couple of our NFT sponsors who are helping make this episode a reality. They are Coinvise and Mint Songs. First up, on Coinvise, you can create a personal or community-owned social token on Ethereum. Coinvise also helps you create incentives through token rewards and bounties, NFT business models, and bot integrations for Discord. Discover more by visiting coinvise.co today. Next up, we have Mint Songs, who is home to over 1,200 music artists in Web3. Check out the Mint Songs marketplace to support, collect, and connect with artists creating Web3 communities around their music via NFTs. In June 2022, about next month, Mint Songs will be launching their much-anticipated V2 marketplace on Ethereum, which aims to make Web3 even more accessible to music artists. Follow along on Twitter at MintSongs or check out mintsongs.com to learn more. All right, back to the episode. So I want to pivot back to Showtime, okay? What is your thesis on the Web3 social movement? What does that really entail?
So to me, content creators are vastly under-monetized. I think this is not, a very crazy thesis to have. Everyone knows this. I think that Web3 social lets you own your content. So like, NFT can literally be a piece of social media content, like a podcast episode, a photo, or whatever. And that is extremely valuable. Like, Facebook is worth $1 trillion owning all the NFTs of everyone. Plus, it's only using it as a black box for advertisers. So for one use case, NFTs, because it's composable, can have not one use case, but a million use cases, meaning that the total value, if we unlock Facebook as a Web3 platform, will be even bigger than Facebook. So there's literally trillions of dollars of value that could be liberated, given to people who actually produce the value. And that's extremely exciting. And so in concrete terms, if you're a podcaster, maybe you can sell an NFT of sponsor slots. And literally you get an inbound of all the 30 seconds audio clips you received that were purchased that, you can just plug into your podcast automatically. And that makes it very easy. So like sponsor slots is just one idea. Or, Beyonce fans, for instance, if they ever want to buy tickets at a concert, tickets sell out in a second for Beyonce, and they feel ripped off. Like they've listened to her songs way more. Like they've done work to prove that they're fans. They deserve to get some VIP access. Like I feel like social media not only doesn't monetize well, but is extremely superficial. Like social media is really maximum width right now. Especially with TikTok, right? Like TikTok, a follower on TikTok really means nothing. It means like you double tapped and you clicked on follow and you like literally gave 3 seconds of your attention. So like Web2 doesn't make money and has zero depth. With Web3, you can make money and you can also use those Web3 assets to create depth. Like, oh, those are my, fans of like who listen to one show or two shows. Or those are like extra fans. Like it can really recreate how deep of a fan you are to someone. And that's really good because right now, sure, everyone is online. There's millions of people, even billions of people on social media, but we should probably recreate depths of the internet because otherwise, it's very hard to actually get to a community that we like, that is high signal, a lot of trolls, a lot of negative people, a lot of, clickbait things can happen when there is no depth because everyone is treated the same. Bots are treated the same. Bad people are treated the same. Insulting people are treated the same. We can change this with NFTs and tokens because we can read the chain on what exactly have they done. And so we can have better communities online. And so to me, like Web3 fixes a lot of things about the space. Monetization, it fixes the depths of how much of a fan you are and all the perks that you can get. It also fixes social media addiction. Creators are addicted to social media because they cannot make money unless they really drown the algorithm in content. If you're making a hardcore year and that's enough for the city you live in, then you don't need to be as much plugged in. If you're a user, you're going to start making money of maybe sharing early creators and stuff like that. So like there's going to be talent manager who are going to be like kids in India that no one knows, who's going to discover the next Justin Bieber on like the Web3 YouTube, and that's going to be wealthy. So people are going to realize, wow, I'm making money off social media as a user or as a creator. That's changing my life. And I can recognize the value. And so now I don't have to abuse social media as much because I'm getting the value. The attention economy on Web2 right now is like, I'm giving away my value, but Web3 gives you back that value. And I think it can really make people understand, oh, like my time is very valuable. I could spend it doing something else because now I'm getting the money. I know exactly the value that I'm getting in Web3. So social media addiction, moderation, depth in content creators, which is very exciting. Obviously, monetization. It's literally solving a lot of problems. And I think also the obviously bigger and meta one is that people will only join a social network to join crypto and Web3. Like they don't care about installing MetaMask or Zerion. Those are self-motivated people, which is amazing. And we love those apps. But basically, the first wallets of people will be created because they need a social media. And so this also is a massive benefit in itself, which is people will use social media because they're much better in Web3. And then that's their starting point. And then they can go on to do DeFi stuff, NFT stuff, other games and whatever things. But whatever will break out is social, because social is literally like a marketing first product. It's literally the goal of the product is for everyone to use it. And so if we want to get more people to crypto because it's so amazing, we should probably have them use a social network, because that's the only way to get people. Like the most used apps online are all social networks. There's no way around it. That's where people hang out. If we don't create a place for people to hang out in Web3, they will not come. And it has to come from other people telling them, because that's how people operate, not self-motivated, nerds like us. That's the vast majority
Right.
of people, and we're just a tiny minority.
So where does Showtime fit in that thesis then? Because you just explained a bunch of like why, like the purpose behind this stuff, right?
Right.
So from a product point of view, out of those problems, which ones are you after?
Right. So I think to me, the best things to do is to be product first, to build a product that people care about. They don't care about a protocol. They don't care about just a tool that they use once. They care about a platform to hang on. And so with this thesis, there's many things you can do. You can do a Twitter Web3, which is, short form text. And so there's Farcaster, who's very exciting, started by this Coinbase alumni, Dan Romero, which I'm very excited about. There is Showtime, which in our case is an Instagram, media content. The reason I chose media was it seems like it's some of the biggest markets in social media. Like TikTok is massive. Instagram is kind of like slowly decreasing in users, but it's still a massive, massive social network. So I'm like, people care about media-based social networks. So let's build one and rethink it with Web3. And so in Showtime, your content is your NFTs. Your username is maybe an ENS in the future, or at least an ETH address. We are rethinking every primitive with Web3, and we just started scratching the surface. The next thing we're excited is free NFTs. It's the social media version of NFTs. It's not about price. It's about utility. It's about unlocking something special. For the first time, we have depth in social media again, where some users are not treated the same as others. And that's super cool because that means you can give discounts to some people. You can give, exclusive access to a community or a group chat or stuff like this. And I'm very excited to see, because we blocked the price with free NFTs. There's no way to do a price. A lot of creators are going to be very creative about what they offer, kind of like Mayor. Mayor got a lot of people really creative about what to crowdfund with. And we're kind of doing a similar distribution product, but this time it's media-based. It's for content creators, podcasters, musicians, anyone who has more than 10 NFT collectors, like digital artists. Digital artists, they don't really need a social network. They have OpenSea, they trade, they have maybe music NFT for like the rare vinyls. But for social media, they don't have a platform, and they need tools like Farcaster for Twitter, Showtime for Instagram, Bylines for WhatsApp. Those are the future. And every single Web3, every single social network today is going to be disrupted by its Web3 version. It may look a little different, but there will be a text-based one, a media-based one. Maybe there will be aggregators reading a little bit of everything. And so a million different interfaces will come up. But I think this is where we're heading. And so, yeah, Showtime is media-based, Instagram-like, but different features than Instagram.
Free NFTs are the Trojan horse, in my opinion, for content creators. I think it's a number one way to build a top level funnel to find those collectors who will end up buying something from you. I've given out thousands of free NFTs on the podcast, over 8,000 to date across every single season, in an effort to kind of put a cookie in someone's wallet, in an effort to kind of learn and prove that they've been a part of my journey since that episode. And that as I figure out what my content journey is, I can bring them alongside me, right? I think it's the ultimate way, and people go absolutely crazy for them. People love them. People love free NFTs, let alone free shit. And you guys are starting to focus on free NFTs. You just posted a long ass thread on Twitter yesterday talking about your excitement. And I know this is kind of like what we connected over as well. We share the similar sentiment over that, but elaborate more on that. And I want you to touch upon like Soulbound tokens as well, because they very much have a free element to them.
Yeah, for sure. So as I said, like it's really free NFT season. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. I think we're like some of the first to talk about this, but free NFTs have been trending on Twitter some weeks. Obviously, you're very bullish on it. A lot of creators and influencers are starting to tweet about it. Chainsmokers did a free NFT drop, so like it seems like there's some enthusiasm, and it's only going to increase. I think the reason for free NFTs is very simple. And as I said, it goes back to like caring about mainstream people, caring about social media users, and not crypto native collectors or like some very small niche. And it's very striking that most people in this world don't have an NFT. It's very much that simple. And we're like, how can we make people earn their first NFT? How can we make people own their first NFT? And it's really that simple. Like, it's like, well, should they pay for it? Maybe most people can afford $5. So we could maybe do like on Polygon, like a $5 sale, but then it gets blocked from the App Store because Apple doesn't like digital items and App Store policies have not caught up to NFT innovation. So we're like, okay, people like free stuff. Apple like free stuff. The markets are crashing, so people don't even want to spend money anymore. NFTs are not as booming in value as before. And so this is the perfect time to focus not on prices, but on what the NFT can offer. And so we want to do free NFTs for any creator to share a simple link to their audience for whatever that is. We leave them the expression, and some ideas include a private group chat, a private community, showing up to an event, participating to something. The goal, I think, is to kind of prove some work. The simplest form would be being early in someone, but doing something like proving that you have some depth as a fan, not just a person who randomly followed someone, is very exciting. And I think it links to Soulbound NFTs, Soulbound tokens, as you said, because, Soulbound tokens, so just to define it, is basically non-transferable things. Things are tied to you as a person, as a soul. And I think one early example of that is POAPs, where it is transferable. POAPs are NFTs, but people don't really sell their POAPs because it tells about them. POAPs is an NFT that you gain from attending a crypto conference. And what's very exciting is that you get to prove that you are an OG in the space. And maybe one free NFT or one POAP will not give you depth because it's like, okay, you just claim one. That's like a 10-second action. But what's very exciting and what we saw with POAPs is that the accumulation of POAPs is interesting. Some of people joining Showtime are new to crypto. They have one POAP from ETH Denver. That's not that high signal. But people looking at my account, I've been in POAPs like events for like 3 years. I have 22 POAPs. Now the accumulation of them are extremely valuable. It tells a story about my life. Like, okay, I started Meta Cartel, Demo Day 2019. And, those are NFTs. So this can be faked because you can buy them. But with Soulbound tokens, I would not be able to buy them. And so my account will truly reflect this is someone who probably is a human being because he's been traveling the world doing stuff, and a bot doing all of this over the past 3 years would be insane. So that's probably a human. And then this can give you like status. I'm, a prominent Ethereum person because I've attended this. I've spoke at conferences. I have, POAP speaker badges, whatever. Self-expression. I care about women in Web3 because I attended a Women in Web3 event and I have the POAP to show it. And so all of those things are the basis of social media: status, self-expression. And so if you can transfer them, if it's not about money anymore, if it's free to get, if anyone can get it and they can prove something, we are really recreating social networks. But this time it's not, virtue signaling. It's not all of those superficial things. It truly shows what you've done. And to me, that's extremely exciting. And a lot of people in Web2 don't like social media creators that seem superficial and seem to be faking their lives and stuff like that. There's a lack of authenticity that Web3 can provide with those Soulbound tokens and free NFTs.
But human nature is programmed for Web 2. We spend so much time doing the things, acting the way we do on Web 2 because we naturally, organically are like that, right? Posting a picture next to a Bentley on the way to fly in your private jet is some shit that people love to do, and that gets clicks, attention, attribution, all these things, right? Why would Web3 make that different? That's just human nature.
Well, I think what's very exciting is that I completely agree with you. And this is why the startups that I mentioned, which is Farcaster, Showtime, and Bylines, which is kind of low-key but will come out very soon, are literally copying WhatsApp and Twitter and Instagram that people absolutely love. Because Web3 is a financial innovation, and it's a self-custody innovation, but it's not a user interface innovation. So we're gonna keep the same interaction things that probably will also make someone with a private jets, do well. But this time in Web3, that influencer, let's say they're promoting Bentley, they are gonna say, like the first 1,000 people liking this will get some of the money Bentley paid me to do this Instagram post. And that means all of my users have now discounts buying Bentley stuff. Well, I guess Bentley is kind of super expensive, so it's a bad example, but it could happen with Nike. So that way, the social media platform doesn't take 100% cut. And literal social media users will get discounts from Nike from the money they are giving to the influencer. And the value flow is going to be very exciting to see. So like, not only you're going to get status in Web3, but you're also going to get money. So you're going to get the best of Web2 with the best of Web3. And people can still flex and do some cool stuff. They can flex even more now because they can literally show their holdings and their earnings if they want to, because it's going to be more traceable and visible. So I don't worry about replicating some of those dynamics, but at least users will make money even if they start doing cool stuff. Brands will be more loved because users will start making money from brands by interacting with them in Web3. So now it won't be a cash grab. It will be about receiving money and value. So advertising will actually be like giving money, because the advertising platform does not exist. It's someone giving money to someone. That's super exciting to me.
There was a gaming creator on the podcast in season 1 where she did this collaboration later on, a few months later, with a hardware company for gaming, and she basically allowed her audience who hold the coin to purchase the hardware, but at a discount. And you saw the brands interacting with this on-chain provenance and providing utility to fans, because she brings in an entire customer base that are loyal with her, that can buy these products and services using their native currency, using their membership pass, using whatever is of value on chain, and seeing brands actually interact with Web3 native creators by buying into their communities versus doing one-off sponsorships is the most interesting thing for me as a creator, right? How can the brand that I collab with actually be a part of my journey for a while, not just a one type off transaction where I do swipe up if I have a few conversions and that's it, right? Like building long-term sustainable partnerships on chain. That's something that's also really exciting for me using these primitives. I wanted to ask you, what does the monetization funnel look like for free NFTs? What does the value funnel look like? Because if you use free NFTs as a top level funnel to attract or to reward, right? How do you actually monetize these collectors down the line?
Right. So I guess there's two ways. So one, either the free NFTs has some utility that people price on secondary markets, and so they resell on OpenSea. And that's very exciting, because what it means is that it's no longer a cash grab. You're literally giving value with your free NFTs. And as a creator, you only make money if your fans make money through royalties. They sell it on OpenSea, you get the royalties, everyone's happy, no more backlash against creators. So that's great. And also we're using Polygon, and scaling solutions are coming, so they're eco-friendly. So mainstream will not complain about environmental damages to society. So that's perfect. That's one thing. So obviously make the free NFTs valuable, I guess. The second one is, well, now that we have free NFTs, it doesn't have to be valuable. You can drop 100,000 of them. And then you can maybe like drop some valuable things to those people who hold free NFTs. And the cool thing here is that we differentiate the status from the money. And that's amazing. With the Alex token, people felt really weird because they started becoming more and more knowledgeable and known in crypto and notable in the space. And they started making a lot of money. And they were like, can I like sell Alex tokens because I was early in them? Like, am I shorting Alex? Am I going to be not friends anymore with Alex? Because it feels weird. With free NFTs, I would have given them at the start free NFTs, and I would have given the income independent of the free NFTs so that they can cash out and you can have financial assets like tokens and NFTs drop to you, and you can make profit of them, and you can use those discounts to sponsors and advertisers, but you still keep the status and the self-expression. And so if you don't make free NFTs valuable, which is the option one, give valuable things to free NFT holders, and that will be monetizable with royalties and other stuff. But free NFTs and Soulbound tokens, which are kind of similar in vision, are basically like, for the first time in crypto, we are using assets that are not financial. And that in turn will means that if you want to airdrop financial stuff, it will be more precise and it will be different. And so you don't have to sacrifice status or self-expression or stuff like that. Like if you're a member of Friends with Benefits and now it's $10,000 at the peak of the bull market, like that's a very stupid choice to make. It's like, you know, a lot of people would probably sell and leave a great community just because it makes money. That should have been a free NFT, and you get tokens for Friends with Benefits, something that is different and that's better. And I felt the pain with the Alex token because the Alex token was like an umbrella of all things Alex, and it started being very confusing because if you don't get the income and the Alex token boom and you just have access to a Telegram chat, you're gonna sell Alex. So it's kind of the opposite of what I want. It's people literally turning down the price, and that's kind of weird. Like they still are proud of being OG Alex holders. Why should they be forced to sell to make money because the market is much higher? Basically, status and self-expression don't have a price. You can drop discounts and stuff to your top clients, but you should not, as a brand, like have your loyalty program being sellable. That's weird. And we did this because crypto obviously is very early. We packed everything into NFTs and tokens because that's all we have. But with non-transferable tokens, differentiating both can lead us to monetize via different tokens and NFTs. And so I actually think that the next bull market will be even crazier in speculation, but this time the speculation will be better oriented. It will be targeted airdrops to actual people. So brands and airdrops from companies and projects starting out will be more efficient. Airdrops will get more efficient, and people, they retain their OG status. They don't have to sell, or they don't have to question. Like when you have an ERC20 US question, is this worth telling? Like, what do I do? Like, no, you can be an OG fan of Levy chain. You don't have to like dump it because now it's so valuable. Like your status as an OG fan is not related to how much money this is worth. And so if we differentiate both, free NFTs can be like a pass, and you airdrop stuff to that pass. But maybe that pass should be non-transferable, so we lock in the status and self-expression. And so to me, that's how we're going to monetize for NFTs. And also, yeah, as I said, royalties. It's always royalties, and that's very exciting. Because to me, like 1 million editions with 10% royalties given for free probably will get way more money than 10,000 editions sell to like an incredible price to a very few niche of wealthy collectors.
Yeah. If you go on G Money just did his Admit 1,000 membership group community online. It was a free mint to access, and it's already done 4.2K in secondary volume. Wow. And he made nothing off the primary sale, but he's making 10% off the secondary sale. Right. So it's cool because a lot of these new music artists that are coming to the space, they're experimenting with free NFTs as a way to mint their songs on chain for free to find a few collectors. And then a few days later, there becomes a 0.1 floor, a 0.18 floor. And with that, they get all the secondary royalties that come alongside that. Another thing that I want to see creators experiment with is if I come to a drop and I mint your collectible and I pay for it, I want to be able to receive a non-transferable Soulbound token the second I mint that collectible, because if I decide to sell it, I still want to be recognized and known that I was there before anybody else.
Exactly.
Have you seen anybody do something like that?
Well, to like for the royalty stuff. Oh, like sorry, like the Soulbound tokens. Well,
yeah. So I'm talking about specifically the funnel of coming to someone's drop, minting their content, and then getting a Soulbound token on the same.
So I don't want to leak Showtime roadmap, but we are literally exactly thinking about this, where basically you could get, what if like your profile was a soul, and that way it's easier for anyone to recognize you as a social media user. I think that will be very useful. And then we can also make the free NFTs non-transferable, and we can rebrand it something else. And so, yeah, I think minting non-transferable stuff is going to get much, much cooler. And if any creator could have their non-transferable stuff, that would be super, super cool.
But what about people that don't want something that's soul bound to their wallet? Because a lot of people, like many people buy shit that's never really soul bound to their life in the physical
Right.
world, right?
Right.
It's like there's beauty behind selling something off and getting rid of something, but then this becomes an opportunity for like ill-minded people to just consistently airdrop these like whatever these tokens in their wallet as a way to permanently stay in there. And I don't know, I see a dystopian future kind of evolving from that. Do you think about that?
Right.
Like,
Right.
what are your thoughts around the I guess the cons of Soulbound?
Right. So I guess one thing, so like the Showtime leak that I just said, which is like we could maybe have a SBT per profile, means that you could move your profile around. So you can say it to
Got it.
someone else, and all your Soulbound NFTs tied to it go with it. So that would be cool because you can make it portable. It's not soulbound to an address, it's soulbound to an identity, and you can have a multiple one. You can have an anon. You can have like another
Yeah.
profile or identity. So that's okay. The second thing is about like everyone airdropping you stuff and like kind of ruining your soulbounds because everyone's gonna airdrop you stuff. Well, that's why we made free NFTs claimable. It's like we have precise intent from the user. We make it very easy. We don't want to like have any friction. It's literally one click. It's pretty easy to use, but we don't want people to be airdrop scam NFTs all the time. And I don't think we're the only one here because Coinbase NFT, OpenSea, a lot of companies are literally blocking airdrops from this, like they just don't display them.
Right.
So like I'm kind of short airdrops, but if you have a free NFT and the same creator, if you have a SBT, maybe that could whitelist airdrops from the address who gave it to you because you signal that you like that. So maybe in the future it could be airdroppable without the scams, without the spams, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. I just see it. Everything that we're doing online is soulbound activity at this point. And we're able to trace every single interaction, every single type of movement that our wallet kind of acts, right? So
Yeah.
I'm super excited for Showtime. I'm super excited for where your head's at. I think it's free NFT summer, in my opinion.
Free NFT
And
summer.
we're about
100%.
to see it. We're about to see it go live.
Yeah.
Before we kind of wrap this up, okay, I wanna end with one final question because you love Steve Jobs so much. So let's do something fun, okay? If Steve Jobs was here today, okay, and you had the opportunity to ask him one question, what would it be and why?
Well, I would ask him to maybe make Apple accelerate the Web3 transition, or like be maybe even innovating.
That's what you would ask him? Okay. All right.
I think.
Respect.
Well, I guess
He's
like
your idol. Remember, he's your idol. You've idolized him since 14 years old.
Well, I think I'll just be so excited. I'll just ask him like some philosophical questions. But I mostly understand his philosophy. That's kind of my philosophy now. At least the perception of his philosophy is my philosophy. I don't know how he actually thinks. So yeah, I think I'd love to ask him more than one question. I'll just say like thanks. Like it's literally because of him that I'm in tech. Honestly, like otherwise I'm just a random dude in Paris. And so I would probably will touch on crypto. I guess I think he probably would dismiss it and be like, "This is so bullshit." Like the company is supposed to protect you, but I think that it's just because like he's just back from the dead and so doesn't understand anything.
Right.
But with more context, I think he would probably warm up to the idea and maybe even like innovate with Apple in very cool ways. That's not really happening with Apple right now. But Apple is like seems to be listening, and we're talking with OpenSea mobile team and stuff like that, and it's a pain for now, but we're fighting the good fight, and I think it's gonna be exciting. So yeah, I would say I don't know exactly what I would say to Steve Jobs, but I'll probably ask you about Web3.
Nice, nice, solid, typical. All right, I love it. I'll take it. Before I let you go, Alex, where can we find you? Where can we find Showtime? Shill it away.
Sure, for sure. So you can find me, Alex Masmej, on Twitter at Alex Masmej, Masmej. And then Showtime is Showtime XYZ or Showtime_XYZ everywhere.
Let's go. Alex, thank you so much.
We'll free NFT summer, baby.
Free NFT summer.